and taught us, you know, the righteousness of this book. That's who we're supposed to esteem, you know. We're not even supposed to worship Yahweh Shai, you know. We're supposed to, all praise is due to Yahweh Shai, you know what I mean? But we worship the Most High, and we worship the Most High through Yahweh Shai, and there's a distinct difference. And the people in this world, they look at, so-called, who people ignorantly call Jesus, they look at him like he's God, you know, like he created everything. When at the end of the day, he's also a created being. The Most High created him, and he was with him when he created everything. That's why we hold him in esteem. But we don't worship him in the same way that these Christians worship him. You know, they look towards him like he's God. And it doesn't make sense. Why would God pray to himself? Why would God say, you know, if you can, Father, pass this cup from me? If he was God, he wouldn't have sacrificed himself. Because even before it happened, you know, all respect to Yahweh Shai, you know, he didn't really want that to happen. I mean, what man wants to die? So he said, "What, if you can, Father, you know, pass this cup from me." If he was God, why would he ask God to pass the cup from him? This don't make no sense, man. Your people are off, man. But anyway, Ephesians 5:22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands as unto the Lord. You know? So you're supposed to submit yourselves unto your husband the way you do unto the Lord. And husbands are supposed to submit themselves unto the Lord. There's an order, you know? For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Hamashiach is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Hamashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, even as Hamashiach also loved the church and gave himself for it. You know, so Hamashiach, he died for our sins. He died, you know, to pave the way for us to redemption. In the same way that husbands are meant to be willing to lay down their lives for their wives. That's not your duty as a woman, but for some reason women in this society feel like they're equal to men, and at the same time they're talking about how men are supposed to pay and hold the door open for them. That don't make no sense. If you're equal to me and I'm supposed to treat you better than me, you're not equal to me, you're actually higher than me. These so-called men, what I call males, these pussy-ass guys, hold these women on friggin' pedestals, man. Here this woman been popped by 20, 30 dudes, and you like her 15th boyfriend, and you treating her like she's something special. She ain't nothing. She ain't nothing but really a whore. And there's a difference between a hoe and a whore. But again, there's a fine distinction, because a hoe sleeps with many men, but a whore gets paid to sleep with men. There's a small distinction, but at the end of the day, these women act like hoes, man. Most of them are nothing but hoes, and you guys are losing your minds over these women, man. Over some bucks that some 30 other dudes I had before you, talking about happy wife, happy life. How does that make sense? As much as that dude Waka Flocka went off, he did say one thing I completely agree with. He said, you know, happy husband won't want for nothing. At the end of the day, if your man is happy, he's willing to lay down his life for you, in the same way that Hamashiach was willing to lay down his life, you know, for the body. This is order. You can't have me be willing to die for you, but yet we're on the same level. You can't have a child on the same level as, you know, their parents. That doesn't make any sense. So then I'm responsible for you. I have to go out there and make sure you're well looked after, and you can come to me and tell me how to run my own ship. That's not balance. And this world is just completely off balance, you know what I mean? That's why most of these people, you can't even reason with them. These kids out here are damn demons, man. And this is, I'm kind of going backwards here. But you know, it is where it is, man. Ephesians 4:17. This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk. So these so-called black people who are talking about living by the so-called white man's laws, you know, ease laws, you know, they walk in the ways of these nations. They're the Gentiles, because they've not come to their true heritage. In the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of the Most High through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling have given themselves over to lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness, that ye have not so learned Hamashiach. if so be that ye have heard him and have taught by him, as the truth is in Yahweh Shai, that ye put off concerning the former conversations the old man, which is corrupt according to deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on a new man, which is after the Most High, created in righteousness and true holiness. See, these wicked conversations that these people have, where you be talking about, you know, popping another man's wife, you know, and I used to be there in the world, and I'd be with a man then, and the man then be talking about, you know, popping some dude, and his wife, he's telling him he's the only one that hit it, and all this kind of stuff. Now, that's wicked conversation, man. You're committing adultery, and you think that's fine. I know one dude who took another man's wife, had a kid with her, and then she ended up leaving him and having, you know, going with her boss. So you thought you was gonna take this woman who committed adultery with you, and you was gonna, you know, as I say, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. But he tried to turn a hoe into a housewife, and it blew up in his face. And that's how most these so-called people are, including the Negroes. I mean, these people are damn near cursed, man. But you know, you be sharing in the curses with them. You know, you be acting like your woman's all this and that, and your woman is off, and you're off for not seeing that your woman is off. Because at the end of the day, women behave how men allow them to behave. So if they're behaving this bad, that shows you that the mind of the man is just completely gone. So I do have to agree with the so-called black woman in the sense that most of these so-called black men are not really men in their communities. You know, there's no level of discipline in their communities. And I had one lady last week tell me about, you know, I see her, she's cool, you know, I don't hate her, but she was like, you know, you're a bit militant. And I'm like, what gave you that idea? And she said, I've had conversations with you, you know, I was like you when I was younger. And that kind of offended me, because it made it seem as if she's matured out of that state of mind. And if she had matured out of that state of mind, you know, you'd have a husband, because you got 2 kids in your house, your man's not there. Maybe you should have kept that militant mindset and kept your husband, but you don't. So it's kind of like a backhanded compliment, whether or not she realized it is or not. That's how it comes across, as a matter of fact. You know, these people be looking at you like you're militant for trying to be disciplined and walking in accordance to these laws, statutes and commandments, because they walk in the ways of the Gentiles. That same woman said, you know, when I'm like, you know, he's just a complete degenerate. They're not all bad. And then, you know, the same so-called black woman be sitting there talking about she pays her taxes, like you're proud to contribute to your own oppression. So these people will say one thing and then completely contradict themselves in another, you know, in another statement. And she said, you know, I know you, and what she don't realize is I know her too. Just like it's like when you look into the abyss stares back. So you're not having a conversation with me, analyzing me, and I'm not looking at you, analyzing you. I'm doing the same thing with you, but the only difference is I'm reading you according to these words. You're reading me according to the world. So I seem like I'm militant, but I'm not really. You know, just like if you practice common sense and you're decent and you're courteous towards each other, people look at you like you're strange for change, when really and truly that's the way you're supposed to be. But because this world is so degenerate, they'll look at you like you're so different. These people are off, man. Where am I going? This is 4:25 Ephesians. Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. So we're all part of we're all part of the body when we're in the truth. At the end of the day, you don't treat strangers the same way as you treat your family members. And you have to realize, when you're in this truth, everybody who's in this truth with you is your family member, and you're supposed to treat them accordingly. You know, you're supposed to be long suffering with them. You're supposed to be, you know, you're supposed to be caring and considerate of them. You know, the people of the world, you're not supposed to bid them, you know, Godspeed. Screw them. Yeah, at the end of the day, they don't really care about you, because they'll turn on you for peanuts. You know, same way that what's his name? Nick Cannon, you know what I mean? He said whatever he said about the Jews, and a day later he's going back on his word. So he can't even stand steadfast in his word and what he so-called believes in, because the next day he was willing to, you know, to take back all the words that you said. So that means that you don't really have a backbone and you're not firm in this belief. You're double-minded, and we all know a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. That dude's unstable, man. He's sitting there talking about things he has no clue about, but because it makes you sound like, you know, you're black power, you want to sit there and talk about things that you have no understanding on. Talking about how melanin this and melanin that. Melanin ain't got nothing to do with it, man. At the end of the day, it protects you from the sun and whatnot, but we all know, you know, the parable of the wheat and the tares. There's people who look like so-called white people who are really Jacob. Just like you have these, you know, these reverse tares, you know what I mean, where, you know, it looked like a Jake, might even talk like a Jake, but I don't really have the spirit of the Jake, man. You know, you're just completely off. I see plenty of dudes like that, man, just completely generous, acting like they're, you know, they're for you when they're not. Be ye angry and sin not. This is Ephesians 4:26. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil. So this is in regard to how we treat each other in the truth. We're not supposed to be angry towards each other, even to people in the world to a lesser extent. We're not supposed to, you know, hold anger in our hearts, because it's not really profitable. You know, anger kind of clouds your judgment. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth. So if you selling drugs, you stealing, you know, you committing fraud, you Nigerian, you know, you might want to stop that, man. When you come into the street, you can't be doing the same old thing, man. You can't be scamming people's bank details and running up their credit. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers, and grieve not the Holy Spirit of the Most High, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. You know, we're waiting for our day of redemption, because right now we're in bondage. We haven't been brought back yet, and no one is going to buy us back but the Lord. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamour and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice.